Hell yeah.
I'd say if the question was who's the best looking, I'd say the guy that sits in the middle.
Well, I can tell you right now, you look like you're from Hawaii, so I think
We're just trying to have fun out here, and our idiot kicker got liquored up.
Yeah, Holiday World for me because I'm not tall enough to ride the roller coasters at Kings Island.
Hell yeah.
Stay in school, kids, so you don't end up like me. They say challenging.
He's a dog.
I had number 2. I had Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, he discuss. And if you like him, that tells me a lot about you.
I was in the gas station today, and a sweet old lady did say hello to me, and I think she was into me.
Question.
We'll get a little bit more serious here. Bigfoot, I know you're out there, and I'm coming for you.
7 Nation Army by the White Stripes.
Number 3. Go without chicken.
If you've ever heard a rumor about me, it's definitely true.
Hey, Jonathan, you want to come back to the horseshoe?
It is perfect.
I can't even think of it.
Don't even know.
Got it.
I'll look it up
Here,
after
no, how's
this.
it go? How's it go?
I'm not gonna sing to you guys because I'm just too good. Obviously, I'd break glass or something like that, so I don't want to show off.
There's so much class. Long neck, ice cold beer, never broke my heart. I think it's that's a good one. That was funny. Yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Coaches from the Couch podcast. We're 3 friends. We sit on a couch sometimes. We like to talk sports. We like to have fun. We'll play games. We'll do whatever needs to be done. But if you can notice, we're 3 deep on the couch today. We have special guest, Madison baseball coach Kyle Harsin.
Let's go, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Kyle, he was a player. He played in college. He's a coach now. But above everything, he's an interesting guy, and that's what we look for. Yeah. Interesting dude. So, Kyle, thanks for coming on the couch.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. You guys do good work. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, first things first, I think Jaden, he kind of wanted to tee us off today, no pun intended. So, what do you got to say, Jaden?
Yeah, you're obviously a guy that's been around baseball, it sounds like, your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious, what kind of started that off? What age did you get into baseball?
Well, I would say that I probably started playing baseball kindergarten age, even throwing the ball around in the backyard with my dad growing up. I would say kindergarten is when I first started playing t-ball, which is funny because, a lot of the guys that I played high school ball with and even, that I still talk to this day, I'm 43 years old, I still talk to a relatively, large group of friends. We all played t-ball together all the way up through high school ball. So I started then, played basketball and football also, and actually probably growing up, basketball was probably my favorite sport. I enjoyed baseball, played instructional league and then in Little League here in Madison, and then even into All-Stars, and then junior high we'd play Babe Ruth baseball, and then high school ball. So
then, did you always pitch?
I did. I didn't always know where the ball was going.
Right.
So
you're a hard thrower?
I was a shortstop, but I threw the ball hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really, to be honest, I didn't know where the ball was going or have much command until probably my sophomore year in high school into my junior year.
What changed?
I don't know. Probably a little bit of physical maturity, and then I also learned that I grew up watching the Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine of the year. Actually, I grew up a Dodgers fan, but on TV every day was on TBS were the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
So I was watching John Smoltz talk about. I think when it finally rang to me that if I go out there and throw as hard as I can, I don't have much control. Mm-hmm. But if I go out there and really work on my release point, throw about 80%, then that's when he finally got it together. And that it probably took me to the age of about 16, 17 years old before I figured that out.
Wow, so you're a sophomore?
Yeah, sophomore, junior. I think
all those pictures, they were like low 90s, weren't they? Mid 90s, like they weren't nothing of the 90s, right?
Smoltz could get up there. I think towards the the middle end of his career, he was throwing 98, 99.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
But Maddox definitely one of those
Yeah.
guys, low velocity, but paints the corner.
But,
Yeah.
but the
So
big thing with
accurate.
Maddox, if you watch like the old footage of him, I mean, his ball moves 2 feet. His
Yeah.
fastball. He throws a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, but it's moving 2 feet. He'll throw it 2 feet outside, and it comes back and hits the outside corner.
Yeah.
So. But no, that was kind of the, there were days in Little League where I wanted to quit baseball because if I was out there pitching, I'd walk 8 guys in a game and
Right.
hit 3 of them. I mean, matter of fact, one of my best friends was at the plate one time, and I threw the ball and hit the back of his helmet, and his helmet flew off his head against the backstop with the with the
Yeah.
ball. So sorry about that, Ryan. But no, it finally started to kind of come together about the middle to the end of my sophomore year.
So then, were you always one of the better hitters on your team, even growing up?
Yeah,
or-
I would say average wise. Never hit for a lot of power. Was more of a line drive hitter.
Yeah.
But I was always could hit the ball a little bit.
So I have a question. So you brought up power. When was your first home run? That has to always be a question asked.
First home run, field 2, Rucker Sports
Okay.
Complex.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little League baseball.
Deep center field.
My
Deep
first,
center field.
my first home run in game. I had hit a couple out in coach's pitch or
Uh-huh.
whenever my dad was throwing to me. But first home run was at Rucker Sports Complex, field 2, left center field.
Wow.
Stiff wind blowing out.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we
So
got the
about-
ball. We got
yeah.
the ball up in the air, and it landed over there, probably, close to where the parking lot is now.
Nice.
Okay. So
Wow.
so about 420.
Yeah, that's what we'll say. 418.
And then
Yeah,
did you
exactly.
pimp it? Did you? throw your
No,
bat
I hit the ball and knew I hit it well. I was running hard. I wasn't about to get.
You're at third base by the time it landed.
Correct. Yeah, I was looking around. Everybody's waving their hands in the air. So.
So then, so you had an extremely successful high school career, not only personally, but also team wise. You guys had really good teams.
Yeah, we in which as a pitcher, it helps whenever you pitch for a team that we're hitting scoring 6 or 7 runs a game,
Right.
especially against really good competition. But yeah, junior year, I started off the season I think 3 or 4-0, and then got hurt.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, it was during the MCIT. Threw a wild pitch, went to cover home plate, and turned my ankle real bad, and broke my ankle and partially tore my Achilles.
Jeez.
So was out until
So,
sectionals.
so you turned your ankle so bad you tore your Achilles.
Yeah,
partially.
well, I mean, it was just like they said it was just a little partial tear
That
in
is
my right.
insane.
Wow.
So that helped me out. That was the third week of season, and I was out until I think first game sectionals.
Wow.
So
Wow.
and then we ended up making it to regionals. We won sectionals and ended up making it to regionals, and then our senior year, we at that point had played with a group of guys that we had all played together for ever since we were in junior high. It helps whenever a couple of the guys that you play in high school ball got drafted. But we hit a lot of home runs. We had 3 really good pitchers. But we ended up starting the season. I think it was like 28-0, won our first 28 games.
Wow.
And then we
Safe to
ended
say
up,
the bats were hot, huh?
yeah, we ended up going 33-2.
Yeah.
On the mound it was 13-0. And then was first team All-State and was starting pitcher for the South All-Stars that year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then you started off, kind of moving into your college career. So you started off your college career at the University of Louisville, correct?
Yes. Mhm.
And so when did, not only the University of Louisville, but at the end of your high school career, when did recruiting really start to ramp up for you?
So for me, it was a little different because being out a lot of my junior year, I didn't sign to go to play college ball until like the beginning of July.
Okay.
I did not know where I was going to college until end of June, beginning of July. So I was starting to get recruited. I was being recruited in between my junior and senior year because I had gone to some showcases and thrown from the mound and with a little bit of velocity, they start to recruit
What was your
you.
comp then?
It was high 80s.
High 80s.
Yeah,
80s,
yeah.
nice.
80, probably sitting 80, 86, 89.
But I'm sure you had a beautiful breaking ball to compliment.
I threw a hard curve ball and a changeup.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So you still throw 88 right now?
No, but I will say that whenever we have, while I'm coaching the high school now, if we have like live scrimmage, I'll get out there and throw against them. I'm still
Yeah.
pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Now, I will say I can get it up there pretty quick. Probably hit high 70s, maybe hit 80 every once in a while, but whenever that's the case, I can't walk for about.
So
3
you're
days,
saying the
4
Reds
days.
can maybe call you for a bullpen?
Nah, well, yes, just
well,
for bullpen,
yeah,
for a
for a
bullpen,
bullpen.
to throw batting practice. Now,
Because we could probably use you right now.
yeah,
But,
well, they're a little short. They didn't make any trades during the deadline.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? I mean, do you think that they should have mortgaged some of their future to bring in some?
They have
win now arms?
they have a glut of talent, and in the minors.
Right.
But I'm not in the front office. I don't know what was offered to him, who and whatnot. At that point, they were one of the hottest teams in baseball. You would think that getting Green and Lodolo back would, towards the end of the year, would help your chances and not having to mortgage anybody to start a rent player. But I don't know. Yeah, in hindsight, obviously, it doesn't look like it was the right move. Yeah. But that's a tough one.
Yeah, my thing is all along staying on the Reds. It's like having Edwin Ario, like he's 19, 20. You have Marte, you have De La Cruz, you have McLean, you have India. You have so many shortstop, second base, middle infield.
Right.
It's like, how are you going to get all these guys up? You got to move people. Like there's talking India to the outfield. It's just like, and it's such a tough transition in the majors. Not let alone in college. This isn't the majors.
I don't know. Plus, the one thing you don't know in favor of trading. I mean, you don't know if the Arroyo or those guys are really going to pan out. I mean, you know what you have with for the most part, talent wise. Yeah, with De La Cruz and even Marte, and he's, he looks like he's going to be a heck of a player. But that's a tough one. I don't know. It's one of those jobs that it'd be a dream job, but right now I'm glad I don't have it. So you don't know what decision you would have made.
Yeah, exactly.
And then speaking of Marte, in that log jam in the middle infield, how easy of it, just from your experience in baseball, would it be to be like, here, De La Cruz, this offseason, I'm going to give you this large glove, go practice in center field? Or maybe another player.
The transition from infield to outfield would be much easier than the transition from outfield.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I mean, and even that's why somebody like Spencer Steer is pretty impressive, because the guy, he can play in the outfield, he can play both corners. But with that being said, there's a big difference between playing third base than second base.
Yeah.
Or even shortstop to second base. That's why whenever De La Cruz goes and plays the second base, that guy's a freak athlete. I mean, because that is a completely different throw. It's a completely different, the way the ball comes off the bat is different. It's a different read. He's something else. But it's that transition from the outfield to the infield is definitely a lot more difficult than going out. Because in the outfield, essentially, your job is to learn how to read the ball off the bat, get good jumps, and just go catch the ball.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and then and that's why I think it's fascinating and mind blowing that we sent down Nick Senzel. I feel like he was batting over 300 against lefties. We were using him against lefties. I thought that was fascinating. We sent him down because he was one of those guys that transitioned to outfield, because he was drafted third baseman, I believe.
Yep.
And he can play second, short, third, and he's a utility player. And I think those guys are so good to have on the roster, especially on the bench, because decent hitter, and then he can play the whole infield pretty much besides first and then the outfield.
Right. Yeah, and with Senzel, I think he was kind of the odd guy out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're not really gonna move anybody like. Even De La Cruz has cooled off a little bit, but you really don't move him down because he's the guy that put butts in the seats. It's
and they brought up Ramos, which he had a good game, his first game, but I was just a little fascinated by that.
Well, and then the other, to go on to your point, Votto could hit 100. They're not going to send him.
Yeah, exactly. That guy's making too much money, and Votto, even though he's hitting better lately, but he's a Cincinnati Reds guy. I mean, he's been there. People love him.
Sells tickets.
He's that type of guy that if you're not a Reds fan, you don't like him.
Yeah.
But if you're a Reds fan, you love him. And it's you would think that would be the beginning. Once you send him down, it would be the beginning of the end for his career.
I would say, when you go to a Reds game, you go and then you hear the fans yelling Votto, 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 and the next he's batting 180. It's just like, well,
decision for sure.
Well, it's like you see every time that Votto hits a home run, he could be hitting 150, but every time he hits a home run, you look on Twitter, everybody's saying Votto still bangs.
Yeah, Votto still bangs.
I'm like, well, my friends will send that, and I'm like, will you guys stop? It's 150, crying out loud.
I hope it's not like a Robinson Cano situation with Votto.
And that's I'm not sure how many more years they have on his contract.
I
believe this is last year's contract.
Yeah, I think so. It's one. So
I mean, with him. Nobody's going to take on that contract, but just kind of, and he's he's made some decent. He's had some big hits this year. So
Yeah.
And he's still a good fielder at
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
He's a really good fielder.
He's
at
definitely
first.
not a total liability.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
And he also kind of he still has an on base percentage over 300 because
Yeah.
he draws so many walks.
Which is
so
that's a big deal in
Yeah.
in Major League Baseball.
and then my thing is this: I've always told them this. I obviously I didn't play baseball, but I always feel like on base percentage is more important than average. I really do
Well,
for some
it's-
reason. I know because that's what's more important is you're getting on base. I feel like.
Well, I mean, you have to get on base to score runs.
Exactly.
And, as a high school coach, I mean, that's definitely what I'm looking at is who's willing to do anything to get on base.
Exactly, yeah.
And, you can have a kid that's struggling at the plate, but he's got one or two walk. He's getting walked once a game.
Exactly.
He's
Working the counts, yeah.
So it's definitely an important stat. I think it's way overlooked.
Yeah.
What do you think is more important? Hitting for average or hitting for power? Or how you
Depends on
your team.
depends on where your coach has put you in the lineup.
Yeah.
At the high school level, I'm going to say hitting for average.
Right.
You want a bunch of guys that are hitting over 300, 350, and that's a good, especially with the way the bats are these days. When we played with these aluminum bats that were rocket launchers.
Yeah.
So these days it's you really want kids on base because the more the kids are getting on base, and having a higher average, then every time somebody gets a hit, you got a carousel on the base paths. So
Right.
want, with that being said, I mean you definitely want a kid out there that's hitting 7 or 8 home runs in a year because there's nothing more that the doctor ordered more than being down 1 run and got
Yeah.
your 3-hole hitter up and he hits the ball out of the ballpark.
Absolutely.
Because it only takes one swing of the bat to get you back in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Or you could just be Ronald Acuna and
And
hit
do it all.
330 and 40 home runs. Yeah,
steal
and
60
yeah.
bases.
Exactly.
That or Otani.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otani.
So
he's something else.
could you actually say that? I know he hasn't played that long in the MLB. He's only been in the league for what, 5?
Otani?
Yeah, 5 years probably.
I've been less than that. I would say. Well, did he miss a year because he had Tommy John?
He did.
Right.
Yeah.
So probably 4 or 5
Yeah,
years.
4 or 5 years.
So has the MLB ever seen a guy I know Babe Ruth pitched, but
it's hard
this
to
is
translate.
different.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
different. He's throwing 99.
He was smoking cigarettes before the game. Like,
exactly.
Babe Ruth, that is not Otani.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
Otani, no.
But it is just crazy to see Otani is pitching 100 miles per hour, has a great breaking ball. His split finger is one of the best in the game.
Yeah.
And then he hits 300,
Right.
20 stolen bases. It's just
Well, the argument for him is, how much money do you pay a guy like that? Because he's going to be your top end rotation guy,
Right.
and he's going to be your best hitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to get that on a team, you're paying both guys $20 million, $25 million.
Undoubtedly.
So, and also add on to the fanfare that he gets, the multicultural, multinational fanfare that he brings in. It's just that guy. I mean, before it's all said and done, I would say he's going to be one of the best that's ever played.
I would say
Just
he
because-
has to be.
He has to be the most valuable player in sports right now. in my
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now but again, does it translate? The game of baseball is tough because does that translate to wins?
Right.
Wins, and you're gonna have one guy that does both your ace pitcher and your best hitter in the league. You still need 8 other guys to. You need the guys that hit for average, the guys that get on base in front of them.
Which is crazy because staying on the Angels, they have Mike Trout, and it's just how have they not worked something I know you got to have more than 2 players. I know coaching basketball is just like that. You got to have more than 2 guys on the roster, but it is just to have those 2 guys at leadership, 2 All-Stars, 2 probably the best players in baseball, and you can't even make the playoffs not once in the 5 years so far.
I'd say it's definitely the supporting staff that they bring around.
Yeah.
It's whether or not they're able to develop talent,
Mm-hmm.
draft well, develop talent. Because in Major League Baseball, it's a mix of who you're paying the big money to and mixing them with good young talent while they're still on rookie contracts. And not everybody can do the Dodgers or the Yankees where they just pay the salary cap and tax and just blow everybody else out of the water when it comes to paying everybody.
Yeah.
But the Angels, they're a large market team. It's just whether or not they just haven't put together good talent around them.
Yeah.
That's really, it's not for lack of decent managers. Because
Yeah.
I mean, who they just had
Didn't they have like
was it-
Madden?
when
Yeah, John
was
Madden.
there,
They had Madden.
Not John Madden.
John Madden. Oh,
No, they
Joe
had
Madden.
yeah,
Joe
Joe Madden. They had Joe Madden, not John Madden.
John Madden.
Yeah.
He's at his bus.
Yeah, John Madden,
On his
yeah.
bus going to the
He's-
game.
Yeah, he's always showing up late to the games because he's on his bus, won't fly.
We'll give Jake the benefit of the doubt. Madden just came out, so maybe
Yeah,
he's on.
yeah,
Maybe that's on his
John
mind.
Madden
That's
football.
right.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, maybe he's thinking football already.
So kind of going back to your college career. So you
Yes.
played your freshman
So-
year at the University of Louisville.
I did play my freshman year at University of Louisville. Through 5 innings the first quarter of the season. And you know, as an 18-year-old kid, you have the vision of going to a program like that, especially after my senior year of high school. You know, you go and you have high expectations to play a lot and to that you think that you're going to be a big contributor.
Right.
And then about a quarter of the way through the season, the coach had asked myself and 3 or 4 other guys, young guys, to redshirt because in college baseball, in NCAA Division I, you could play less than a quarter of the season and still redshirt if you hadn't pitched in a conference game.
Okay.
So then we found out I actually did pitch in a conference game. So then I ended up missing probably 2/3 of the season just through that kind of waiting, and then I ended up transferring at the end of the year. You know, not being patient. Probably, you know, if I would have stuck it out probably by my senior year, things would have been, you know, would have been a part of the rotation a little more. But I mean, I did pitch, you know, a little bit in the beginning of the year. But went to Hanover College where I played a position and pitched. And
Well, didn't they also their NIL they offered you was just
yeah, but back here there was no NIL money. You know, we were doing great to get our meal plan.
Right.
The extent of NIL money that we got is that part of my scholarship was that my books are paid for. So
nice.
we would always demand the new books
of
in
course.
college and then sell them back. So that was my NIL at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Just hustling. So so you tell your coach at Louisville you're transferring. How does that conversation go?
He wasn't pleased because I had already had a conversation with him. You know, at the end of each year, you give an evaluation, and he pretty much said, you know, you're young. You know, you need to be patient because you know you're 18 years old, and we have 23-year-old guys on the team.
For sure.
And you know, you pitched with a little bit of success. You know, really only had one bad outing, you know, which was, you know, only 1 inning where I gave up 3 or 4 runs.
Right.
He goes, but you just need to be patient. And then I played a little travel ball in the summertime and just, you know, called him back and said, you know, I want to go somewhere where I can play, you know, in the field too. And he just said, well, good luck. Disagree with you, but good luck. So.
What else can he say?
Yeah.
What else can he say? You know?
No, he was relatively classy about it. So.
And
Nice.
then, so I know, so we had Zach on the show, and Zach Forner, and I think he said they have 50-something players on their roster. I think it was something high.
Yeah.
And then how many did you guys have it?
So at U of L, I think you're only allowed to have 25 on the
Yeah,
roster.
okay,
We have guys that were practicing with us.
Yeah.
That were like preferred walk-ons or whatever, and then, you know, with our coach, he was from South Florida, and he's actually his brother-in-law was Tino Martinez that played for the New York Yankees.
Gotcha.
So a lot of times in the off season, you know, since we had an indoor facility, some of those guys would come and work out with us in the off season. So there were always 30 to 40 people around playing and you know and working with us. So
And then I know some colleges now they have like JV teams. I don't know.
Yeah,
Do they have that?
we did not.
Did not, okay.
Yeah. So even both at Louisville and Hanover.
Okay, gotcha.
Nice. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm
what's-
sorry.
What I wanted to know what kind
Don't fight
of
now.
what's that transition like? Just going from high school, I'm assuming in kind of Madison area, you're probably a pretty dominant player.
Mm-hmm.
What's that like going to that next level and then facing D1 talent?
Well, you gotta. It's a big adjustment. So in high school, you know, you can go out, especially if you're throwing high 80s, low 90s. You can go out and you really need to be careful with 2 or 3 guys in the lineup, or because the rest of them you can just throw the ball by them. They're not going to hit your breaking stuff. But then that transition to college baseball, even into Division III, everybody can hit the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody is there because they were the best. They were you at their high school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you got to make that adjustment of instead of just throwing strikes, you need to be throwing to quadrants. You need to be making sure that your fastball, you're getting movement on the outer third of the plate and, at the knees. Yeah. Anybody, even at Division III level, you can throw 88 to 90 mile an hour. If you're throwing it belt high, they're going to hit it.
Yeah.
So that was the big, on the mound, that was a big adjustment. Hitting was just everybody's stuff was significantly better. You go from just being a reactionary hitter in high school that, you have good enough hands to get to every pitcher's best pitch to in college you're having to think, all right, I'm down in the count 1-2. Historically, scouting report on this guy is his put away pitch is a high fastball. So you're looking for a high fastball, or you're looking for the curveball that's on the outside corner, because you're taking information that you've gotten from scouting reports and whatnot. You're playing more mind games in college.
In your opinion, what is your hardest pitch to hit?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I'm gonna jump real quick. Have you ever tried to hit a knuckleball? Have you ever faced a knuckleball pitcher?
No, because they all stink.
Yeah, there's only so many.
R.A. Dickey.
This is a growing as the Madison High School coach. I've had a handful of pitchers. I won't name any names, but if they're listening, they know who they are. It's like, Coach, I have a great knuckleball. I was like, no, you don't.
It just doesn't have any spin.
I promise it. But then one of my pitchers this past year, I let him throw it a couple times because he begged all year, and he got guys out with it. So maybe knuckleball, not.
Yeah.
If you're got a really good knuckleball, then you're making it to the majors.
Yeah, exactly.
The hardest pitch to is a guy that throws hard. Probably a really good changeup. Yeah. Because the ball's, it's the same arm motion. For example, my senior year at Hanover, I had been batting. We got to like the third weekend of conference, and we were playing Manchester, and they had three pitchers that all threw 90. Two of them got drafted. Well, one of them had a changeup that was the very first pitcher of the weekend. And I was hitting close to 400. That dude put me in a slump because he just threw a changeup at me no matter where in the count. Like a well placed changeup, because the arm angle is the exact same, your arm velocity is the exact same. It just comes out slower, and it's hard to pick up.
Gotcha. And then so right after this, so I'm going to say one more thing, and then we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back to our game segment. We'll do a little game, and then we'll finish off with a little bit more questions, and then we'll end it up.
Absolutely.
But so my last question is, so you said changeup. And that's kind of like slider too, isn't it? Like slider comes at the same fastball angle as well. Because I know like major pitchers, major league pitchers, like for instance, I know Amir Garrett. That's what made him so dominant those 1 or 2 years, because he had a fastball through 95, and then he had a slider that was 86, but it's in the same slot angle, and it just cut away.
The big thing with the slider though is that it does have different spin. It has to have that side spin for it to be breaking. The thing that's hard about a slider is throwing hard.
Yeah,
it's coming out, because if a guy's throwing a curveball, the difference between your velocity of your arm and your arm angle from a curveball, just like a looping curveball to a slider, is that your slider is coming out as hard as your fastball.
Yeah.
But still has that spin that you can pick up on.
Gotcha. All right, so we'll come back. We'll take probably a couple minutes, and then we'll get into our game segment.
So I've had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Harsin for about a year now.
Hey, by the way, happy birthday coming up.
Thank you.
That is
August 20th.
true.
Big,
August
big,
20th.
big number 2-1 coming
Absolutely,
up. All right.
absolutely, yeah. So
Don't drink too many Modelo's.
I won't drink it. So I've had the pleasure of knowing Kyle, for a couple years now. But over this past summer, I really got to know him and learn about how interesting he is. And one thing I learned about him is his favorite thing in the world to do is to take a vacation.
That is correct.
Favorite thing
a
in
beach,
the world.
A beach vacation.
A beach vacation. Favorite thing in
Okay.
the world.
Who doesn't, though?
So for our game today, absolutely.
They don't as much as I do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is. They don't love it as much as Kyle.
That's right.
But for our game today, we're going to rank our 3 favorite vacation spots, and we're just going to talk a little bit about them. We
do
could
it.
say best thing to do there, something you shouldn't do if you go, whatever. But this is a pretty chill one. Just our 3 favorite spots, our favorite thing to do there. And I'll start us off. My number 3 is Cancun.
Cancun,
Now,
that's a good one.
I love Cancun because obviously it's awesome when you get to go to a different culture, right? You get to experience a different culture. But look, I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't see all the parts of Mexico. I only saw the parts of Mexico that I'm supposed to see.
Yeah,
right.
well, that's
but
good.
the parts that I did see were warm, the water was blue, and the people were nice. So Cancun, if you go, I'd probably recommend resort. Maybe don't go off the beaten path too much, but Cancun, incredible. Jaden, what's your number 3?
I'm just gonna go with a basic beach one. I'm not too crazy about beaches, but I'm gonna go Myrtle Beach, and I'm gonna take it
Myrtle.
over. I'm gonna take it over Panama City because I feel like it's a little bit too popular these days.
Yeah, well,
That's fair.
I agree with. That's not a bad assessment. My number 3 is one that we've probably been to the most over the past 5-6 years. Melbourne Beach, Cocoa Beach, Florida, in the Atlantic. We vacation with our best friends, our best friends there every summer. Best thing to do is sit on the beach, watch Elon launch his SpaceX up in the sky. It's really cool. Yeah, just we like to fish from the beach and go out to eat. Head over to Cocoa Beach and go to Ron John Surf Shop. Spend way too much money and just enjoy that. So that's my number 3.
Number 3. And then my number 3 is, I actually just went there, Pensacola Beach. That is the nicest water I've ever seen in the U.S. So I've never been outside of the U.S., but my parents have been to Cancun. They said that water's insane.
Yeah.
But nicest beach I've seen is Pensacola. If you haven't been there, give it a try. And they have good food there, too.
Absolutely. So then my number 2, and I'm sure this is going to be somewhere on Kyle's list, 30A. 30A.
Jacob.
30A.
All right.
My number 2 is 30A. I just experienced it for my first time this summer. Going with my girlfriend, the best friends that you said.
Yep, that's right.
Them. That's that family. 30A is a fascinating spot because it's a highway that stretches from Panama City to Pensacola, correct?
To Destin.
To Destin. Panama City to Destin, and to say that it's ritzy is an understatement. Those folks, like we aren't those folks, right? But when we get to vacation there for a week,
You get to play pretend.
we get to play pretend, and all I'll say is those people aren't living like we are. That's all I'm going to say. They're not living like we are. So my number 2, Highway 30A.
My number 2, I'm gonna take a place I've actually never been to, but just what I've seen of it, it just seems so amazing, and that's Yosemite National Park.
Yeah.
I'm a big hiker kind of guy, and I've just always been like in love with the views there and the nature, and that's a place I definitely want to go to before I die.
Absolutely.
That's a good pick.
My number 2, we're going to stay in the same state of Florida. Sanibel Island. Well, Sanibel Island pre-hurricane, is it Ian? Which one to hit?
I think Ian.
I think it was,
right.
Yeah, and then they'll hopefully build back over a period of time. But Sanibel Island, it's down by Fort Myers, across the causeway. Went there with buddies growing in high school, or actually into college. We would take a trip right before we all go back to school. And then we've gone down there with friends of the family, actually probably in the past 10 years, a couple times. It's a great place to go, sit on the beach, lots of shells. You get to see a lot of marine life and dolphins and sea turtles and everything. Lots of great places to eat. Cheeseburger is one restaurant there that you got to
shout out.
You got to show up to get your picture on the wall. You got to eat the 1 pounder. The 1 pounder. Now it was easier to do when I was younger because I could. If I eat a 1 pound burger now, I've gained 5 pounds somehow. I don't know how the math works like that, but no, that'd be my number 2, Sanibel Island.
Gotcha. And then, so my number 2 is actually our 8th grade trip. I wish we would have done it when we were older, but I'm going Washington, D.C.
That's a good one.
I think Washington, D.C., I'm going a little different from the beach. I'm
Right.
stepping away from the beach. But, like, Washington, D.C., there's so much history there. And, like, when we went 8th grade year, you know, it's more fun, like,
Right.
go with your friends and everything. But, like, now, looking at it, it's like, I want to go now, like, to actually
Right.
see the history. Like,
And to actually
Yeah.
realize
'Cause, like,
what you're looking at.
because when I get older, you know, like, the older I've gotten, like, history is more fascinating. I like
Right.
it better. And, so I would like to go back to DC, but I've been to DC. But DC is number 2. I think it's very cool there.
Awesome. Then my number 1 is Montego Bay, Jamaica. You
Hello.
know, as soon as you step off the plane, first off, they don't have jet jet bridges. You just step right off onto the runway.
Oh, yeah.
So
You're
no
walking, as soon
stairs
as you
either.
step off,
Yeah.
you get laid
Yeah.
right off the bat. You're getting laid.
What? Oh,
They're putting a lay on you.
easy,
right off the
Jacob.
bat.
This is a,
Didn't know where he was going.
He's going the other way.
They're putting a lay on you right off the bat, and you know, you go and they have all the all-inclusives there. You drink. They have like all sorts of awesome juices, and it's Jamaica. Everybody's so happy. Jamaica, Montego Bay, Jamaica is my number
Did you
1.
see this a lot?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm on.
What's that mean?
It just means I don't know, hang loose.
that's
They
like
can't-
hang 10, right? That's
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Hawaii though.
Yeah,
isn't
it is. It is.
to
Montego
transfer to-
Bay. They
Yeah.
just all have
Transfers
smiles.
to Jamaica.
Jake?
It's all
It's
part
all
of
the
the
same.
it's all part of the same global ocean.
Yeah, it's all same ocean.
Yeah. Not really, but
Yeah,
that's all
yeah,
right.
Right.
we'll say this. That's the best thing about doing your own podcast.
That's right.
And with my number 1, I'm going to go back to another national park, one that I have actually been to, and that is Zion National Park. And the reason I have it number 1 is because it's a big canyon spot, a lot of really great views. But from stuff like the Grand Canyon, where it's more a lot like desert, it's real dry. At Zion, you got a lot more colors there. The rocks are more like different colors. You got a lot more trees, a lot more animals, wildlife. And I really just think it's probably the most beautiful national park there is.
Awesome.
Nice.
My number 1 will be 30A, but also to be specific in Panhandle is Grayton Beach. They have my favorite restaurant in the world, which is the Red Bar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
don't
there
know,
before.
something
Insane.
about that small beach community that I've always been drawn to. I love it. But they will always be my
What kind of restaurant is it?
minimum. It's a seafood.
Seafood?
Yeah, seafood restaurant. For the most part, I mean they have a little bit of everything,
Everything,
but
but-
yeah. But I don't
What do you
know.
get there?
I typically either get like the grouper, the
Okay.
fish that they
Uh-huh.
have.
We'll have some fish in the day, some ketchup.
Oh,
They, have
okay, gotcha.
they even have a really good eggplant like dish that's really good. So, but no, that's it actually caught on fire and burnt down a couple of years ago, and they've rebuilt it to
Gosh,
where it looks
that's
the same, it's a little bigger.
Oh, even
so
better.
they can fit more people
Even
in.
better, yeah.
Yep. But no, my number 1, Grayton Beach,
Gotcha.
Florida.
My number 1 is it was mentioned earlier by Jaden. Panama City. I've went there for I think probably half my life. So I've basically lived there. Panama City, I love it. There's so much to do there. It is overpopulated, but there is a lot of good food, a lot of stuff to do there. Good beach. It's not the best beach, but it's not the worst beach.
No,
It's
it's great.
yeah.
Does
And,
it have sand and does it have water?
and it's the
Yes.
white sand. I love white
Yeah.
sand. The white sand's the best. That's why I think I'm picking everything towards Florida. I'm not much of like Myrtle Beach. It is a fun place in Myrtle Beach, but the sand's better, I think, south. So give me Panama City. So much to do. Good food.
Absolutely. So that's our top 3. We'll go back through. So my number 3 is Cancun. My number 2 is 30A, and then my number 1 is Montego Bay, Jamaica.
My number 3 was Myrtle Beach. My number 2 was Yosemite, and my number 1 was Zion National Park.
My number 3 is Melbourne Beach in the Atlantic, Cocoa Beach area. Number 2 is Sanibel
My goodness,
Island.
get the zip code while you're at
Well,
it.
it's Jacob. They're all kind of combined.
That is true.
All right. Number 2, Sanibel Island. Number 1 is Grayton Beach, Florida.
And then my number 3 is Pensacola Beach. Number 2, Washington, D.C. Number 1, Panama City. So we'll take another short break. Looks like we have about probably 10 minutes more. And then we'll finish up some questions and then come back. And we have one more little segment.
Awesome.
Anything?
Nope, we're good.
All right.
All right, we are back from our short break. We have a little bit of time left, so we're going to try to keep it short and sweet. We're going to do a little bit of rapid-fire questions, and I guess I'll start that off.
Let's go.
I want to know what you think the best baseball movie is.
Question. Oh my gosh, this is rapid fire too. I gotta think quick.
No, you're good.
Cross between Major League.
Oh, that's a great one.
Most underrated baseball movie ever is
Sandlot.
No, the movie where the kid inherits the Minnesota Twins.
Oh,
Little Big League.
Little Big League. Yeah.
But I gotta throw in Rookie of the Year, Sandlot, of course.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Willie Mays.
And I think the movie The Natural slightly. So I'll get crucified for this. Slightly overrated.
So who's the dude that? What was the movie that had the dude that threw the apples in the basket? You know what I'm talking about? And he was like throwing like 80. You know?
Nah,
I'm
He
out.
must not have been in here.
You know what I'm talking about? He was on a farm. He's throwing an apple in a basket, and he was throwing it so hard. Okay, yeah.
All right, go to Gatorade flavor.
Probably the Grape Zero.
Grape Zero?
Yeah.
All right, so you go to a gas station.
Yes.
What are you getting?
Oh,
drink
Diet Coke.
Drink and snack.
Other than gas.
Diet Coke. The Heat Peanuts.
The Heat?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got a
Okay.
spicy palate.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Diet Coke all day long.
All right, top
Okay.
fast food spot.
Oh, Taco Bell.
T-Bell?
Yeah, Taco Bell. Let's go.
Oh.
Let us go. About $10 worth of Taco Bell. I'm set.
Oh my goodness.
Who's the best hitter you've ever faced?
Ooh, kid from the University of Houston with the last name Woodward. Hit a ball about 430 feet off of me.
He said.
Funny thing was that it was at Old Cardinal Stadium in Louisville,
cool.
and where the fairgrounds was. There was our flagpole was in left center field. He hit the ball, and I knew it was gone immediately because I could hear it leaving the ballpark. And then I heard a loud noise, and it hit halfway up the flagpole behind the 400-foot fence. Worst part was, when I got back to my dorm that night after we'd been chewed and for hours because we'd gotten beat 3 games in a row, I turned on the TV and it was the highlights from the game that the local news station there in Louisville, was like WHAS, showed, and I was watching, and the first thing I heard was a commentator say, "And the ball hits off the flagpole." So yeah, and the guy from University of Houston was rounding the bases.
So you made TV at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that commentator's getting credit hours for
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
that game, So your last day on the beach, it's your last 3 minutes there. What song are you playing to send you off? Your swan song.
Give me a little Lovely Cruise, Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett.
Yes.
Can't go
Wow.
wrong.
Okay.
Can't go wrong.
So you're on an island.
Yes, sir.
You get 3 things. What are you taking?
Oh.
I don't know why that came to my head, but it did.
And it's a given that you're
I
gonna
mean,
survive.
am I stuck there forever and I'm worried
You can
about
say
starving?
whatever you want. I didn't go
Let's go with my family.
Okay, well,
That's a good pick.
If I'm going to be stranded on a deserted island, I'm going to make them suffer with me.
Right.
So it sounds like you're not in the doghouse. Good
Right,
job. Good
right.
job.
oh no, he said 3 things. You gotta choose. You have to leave one of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I got 4 of those.
Right.
Let's go with an adequate supply of water
Okay.
Okay.
and a fishing pole.
To eat. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Nice.
Out of all the parks that you've played at, what would you say is the best baseball atmosphere?
Would say probably semi-state finals, Jasper, Indiana.
Oh, man.
But that ballpark holds. We were ranked number 1. We were 33-1. And Jasper, I think, was ranked number 2, and they were probably 29-2. And I bet they were. You look up behind home plate and you see about 8 radar guns of college scouts and pro scouts, and the ballpark was packed in stands all the way down the lines and in the outfield.
So now I'm this might be a slower question, but did you get coached by Coach O your whole time?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that. I just want to know.
So Coach O was my high school coach, who is now my assistant coach. Shout out to Coach O.
Nice.
Coach
I'm sure
yeah.
he's watching.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I don't think Coach O's found Facebook or social media yet, but we'll get him there. He's gonna be a force to be reckoned with once he does get
man.
on.
I was working the baseball section though. He came showing up. He had the Adidas. What are those shoes called? The Adidas. The 3 stripes. They're all black.
Oh, the Sambas or something.
Yeah.
He's
He's
hip.
I mean,
He's all right.
He has better shoe game than me.
He's got a little style. Yeah.
No Facebook, but he has shoe
And
game.
where were his
Yeah.
socks pulled up to?
They were about the base of the calf.
Yes.
He was whistling the whole time up.
He looked like he was about to go in there and play.
Yeah.
Did he ever go in and practice and play? Like
no. Well, he would throw some batting practice.
Okay, gotcha.
Nice.
He still throws BP, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
I've seen him.
His arm's not quite what it was 25 years ago,
Yeah.
but he gets up close, gets behind that net. We have to make sure he stays behind the L screen because he likes to get out there and look at the swing and everything. I'm afraid he's going to catch a line drive off his knob.
All right. So back to rapid fire.
Yeah, I do. So I just have a question. Why in the world do baseball coaches and managers wear uniforms?
It's like they're dressing up for Halloween.
Yeah.
So I actually just got told this last week. It was some coaches used to play. Player coaches.
Oh, is that really? They used to
Interesting.
play.
Did not.
See, I learned something now.
Yeah.
Now we could bring back the Connie Mack style where the coaches would wear a suit and tie.
Oh,
And
you
top hat.
have to do that.
All right, well,
First
you guys get up
Southwestern
the pool.
next year.
Get up the pool. Southwestern game, I'll wear a suit, tie, and hat. Just let me know.
Isn't that crazy?
Let me know what's in the pot. In
I
terms
didn't
of
know
money.
that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that it was player
I was always
like
like,
player
why
coaches. That's
Pete
they used
Rose.
to play.
Pete Rose used to play as a manager.
He did. He also used to bet.
Frank Robinson.
Yeah, sure did.
And is there anything wrong? There might be something wrong with
Right.
that. But
Right. Top ballpark food.
Ooh, let's go with nachos.
what is yours? It has to be a hot dog, right?
Me? Oh, I love hot dogs.
Yeah, you gotta say hot dog.
You gotta take nachos and cheese with the jalapenos.
I agree.
That's my top ball.
Okay, that is good. I do.
Tell me, what's worse, the golden sombrero, 4 strikeouts, or getting shelled on the mound?
Oh, good question.
Um.
That is good.
Wow, that is a
Yeah,
good question.
He is a.
That is a good question. I'm going to say getting shelled on the mound purely because I always say the pitcher's mound is the loneliest spot on the field. It's the only spot where everybody's looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Catchers, the fielders, the fans. And I can tell you, I've been in both scenarios. I think I've struck out 4 times in a game in college. Yeah, I'm quite certain I did. I can tell you, getting shelled on the mound is a very lonely, especially when you think you're going into the game thinking that you have your good
Yeah, you're
stuff.
like, I have my stuff today. baby.
And you're making good pitches, and no matter what, it just seems like you keep finding the barrel of the bat. And I've been there a couple times. I didn't so much in high school, but college, I did a handful of times at least.
So have you thrown a no hitter, perfect game, immaculate inning? Have you done?
I have thrown. So my senior year of high school at Seymour, I threw a no hitter, struck out 14.
It's not a bad day at the office.
Yeah, immaculate inning, no. I have not hit for the cycle. I have hit the first pitch of the ball because my senior year I led off.
Yeah.
I have hit the first pitch of the game out of the ballpark before. That's fun.
Yeah. Any grand slams?
No grand slams.
No grand slams.
Nope.
There's one more. Oh, highest strikeouts. What was your highest strikeout game?
I struck out 14.
14 was your highest.
Wow. It's a heck of a day. Kind of switching gears. Who's the baddest man on the planet right now? UFC. Baddest man on the planet right now.
Man, you gotta say John Jones.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Have to.
ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably the
about to stop the
baddest man in the
podcast.
history of the sport.
I was gonna say I was gonna stop the podcast if you didn't say him.
It's gotta be John Jones. Second, I don't know, man. Justin Gaethje just looked pretty good, but
He's
So yeah, I'm a Poirier guy too. So
he is a BMF.
he's a
he is.
He really
is.
I don't know. I mean, John. There's nobody
Yeah.
close to John
Oh,
Jones.
speaking of UFC, this weekend, Aljamain Sterling,
Yep.
Sugar Sean O'Malley.
That's gonna be a good one.
Who do you think?
Man, I like Sugar Sean O'Malley.
course.
Yeah.
Because he's a piece of work and he's
Yeah.
fun.
Right.
Man, Aljamain, he's too good.
Done.
I think Aljamain gets it done. I'm cheering for O'Malley, but I think Aljamain gets
I
it
figured
done.
that I thought O'Malley would fight a couple more times before he got to Sterling, but I don't know. It's gonna be
He's
a good
got a
fight.
meteoric rise for
Right.
sure.
I'm rooting for
Well,
O'Malley. But
I know he fought Jan, which he shouldn't have won. I was cheering for him, but he shouldn't have won against Jan. But the thing is, though, like that's all he's really fought. Like, big name, and so now he's stepping in there with Aljamain Sterling,
Right.
who's won. I saw a stat. There's only 3 fighters that's been undefeated this year, or no, undefeated since they've had the belt or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's like 9-0 right now or something, and it's just insane.
that dude's got jiu-jitsu, wrestling.
Yeah.
He's scary.
Yeah.
He gets on your back and squeezes you.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
All right.
Baddest man on the planet, boxer.
Yes. Boxer. Man, it's hard not
Jake
to say.
Paul?
Hard not to say Tyson Fury.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
Tyson.
yeah.
Fury,
the
he's a
Gypsy
stud.
King. I mean, Tyson in his prime was scary. You can look back at like Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler. Those guys were awesome. But I think currently, I think you got to go. Yeah, he's getting up there in age, but I think you got to go with the Gypsy King.
Absolutely.
And then let's see here. You go to go to the Super Bowl or go to the World Series?
I'm a baseball guy.
So going Game 7 World Series.
We're going
Okay.
Game 7 World Series.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Tie ball game.
Okay.
Bottom of the ninth.
All right.
You're up to bat. What's your walk-up song?
The boys are back in town or something.
Some sort of Adele song or something like that.
Oh,
no,
wow.
let's go with let's go Foo Fighters. Hero, my hero.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
That sounds about Kurt
And
Cobain.
you're hitting. Wow.
Yeah.
And Hero comes on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess he's zoned in. He's a little pumped
Okay,
up.
so now I said baseball. All right, so let's say NBA Finals Game 7,
Yes.
Super Bowl,
That's I'm going Super Bowl.
or March Madness.
Oh, March Madness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over anything?
No,
Besides baseball.
I don't know. Well, it depends on the Hoosiers are playing.
The
Or not.
IU
Okay.
just got
Yeah.
beat by Purdue in the Final Four.
All right, so we're going. Okay, here's where we're.
You're already there.
I'm
for the
going.
Final
I'm
Four.
going to. I think my top would be national championship. Alabama playing in national championship.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an Alabama. Well, I'm a newly Alabama football fan because my daughter, shout out to Taylor, goes down as a soft roll tide is down there. So that'd be number one. Number two would probably be Game 7 World Series. Well, no, number two would be Indiana playing in the national championship. Number three, we go and watch the Reds and play in a World Series.
Okay, gotcha.
Game 7.
Nice.
Double bubble or seeds?
Oh, seeds. I'm
Oh, yeah.
a sunflower. And interesting note about me: sunflower seeds. I eat the shell.
Oh, really?
okay.
I don't.
It's
I don't.
salty.
Yeah, I eat the whole shell as well.
So you're a weirdo.
Yes, I'm a legitimate psychopath. That's what I get claimed to be. They
Yeah, I
say-
get it.
Well,
I get it.
I do that with in peanuts. I'll eat the peanut shell, and I'll do
Really?
it with my
Fascinating.
friends, and they'll look at me like, "What are you doing?"
So like, do you eat like? I'm trying to think. Like, do you not peel an orange either?
no, I'll peel the orange.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah,
making sure
no,
you're human.
yeah. Hey,
Okay.
let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
right, yeah, come on, let's not be ridiculous. Let's not be ridiculous. Any type of flavor of sunflower seeds? Regular old fashioned?
Dill pickles the
Dill
best.
pickle?
And then the taco supreme.
Those are good.
Yes,
I like
would be
the
number
taco
2.
ones.
So do you like steak?
Yes,
So you go to steakhouse. What are you getting?
I'm getting a strip, medium rare.
Interesting. Why not a ribeye?
I've always been the strip's a little fattier.
Yeah.
A little bigger cut.
Mhm.
I've always just kind of been a New York strip guy.
Awesome. Well,
I think
anything else?
it looks like
I think he's answered every question he can answer.
You guys got any more?
Oh, come on. You got no more? You got any
We can
other
go.
ones?
We got 5 more minutes. We can go 5 more minutes. So let's see. We can think of something. Hang on.
Favorite player growing up?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
Nice.
this is good. As a young child, till the age of about 8 or 9, was Steve Garvey,
Okay.
Los Angeles Dodgers. I grew up a Dodgers fan. My dad was a Dodgers fan, and still is. And then after once I got older, Mike Piazza was my.
Oh.
I worship Mike Piazza.
I'm a
Yeah,
I'm a Yankee, part Yankees fan.
Yeah, well, so the day that Mike Piazza got traded from the Dodgers, it was a rough day for me.
Yeah.
So,
Nice. Who are your 2 least favorite college football teams?
number 1, let's go with Tennessee.
Yep, Rocky Top.
I
Yeah.
don't like them either.
If my friends I got a friend that's a really big Tennessee fan, and he's not going to like to hear that. And we're all going to the Alabama-Tennessee game this year.
Oh,
so
wow.
Gosh.
Make it even worse.
Do
And
you
then
get to hear
Revenge.
Rocky Top 50,000 times?
Well,
Or is it-
no,
in
it's
Bama?
going to be at
Oh,
Alabama.
okay.
Yes.
Because last year, remember?
Oh,
that
Thank
game?
God. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, we won't talk about the game. So number
Oh, I do
2.
remember that game, Jake.
My number
all
2
of it.
least favorite college football team. Man, for just not being able to think of anybody else, Purdue.
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 Because I'm an IU fan.
Right,
Okay,
yeah, that makes
so-
sense.
Jordan LeBron.
Oh, Jordan. He's so
Why?
much better. Huh?
Why?
Well, he won 6 championships. How many championships did he win?
He won 6.
All right, so here you go. So, you're Game 7 NBA Finals.
Mhm.
You're down 2.
Yeah.
Who do you want to give the ball to?
How does that make him a better player?
Who do you think is going to
So-
take control and score
So-
instead of dribble
okay.
about down the paint and then
Okay.
say, "Oh, I'm going to pass it out"?
So okay,
like a pointed
you just took my question.
seems
So I
like
was
a
gonna say,
pointed question.
from a coaching perspective, I would say I'm gonna give the ball to LeBron, and then he's gonna distribute to a shooter because he always has shooters around. Guys like Kyle Korver, Kevin
Right,
Love.
but how many Game 7 NBA Finals has Kyle Korver shot the game-winning three-pointer for? I know Michael Jordan is
without
going to
Steve
get the
Kerr.
ball, and they can't guard him, and he's going to score.
Without Steve Kerr, though, he wouldn't have one.
Who, Michael Jordan?
Yeah, didn't Steve Kerr hit a...
He hit
He did.
one, but he won 5 more. So.
That's true. That's true. True.
Baseball players have been known to do some really weird things for good luck. When you were a player, did you have any superstitions or rituals?
No, kind of. Like I had the batting glove. I had to make sure my batting gloves were really tight when I got in the box.
So,
I have
Sean
seen.
Casey unstrap him every
No,
time?
not like.
I was about to say, don't be that.
So that's awful.
I did play with a guy in college that during one rain delay, he went over to the opposing dugout and was striking up conversation with them, and then looked down and there was a worm on the ground, and he goes, "Oh, a worm!" and he picked it up and ate it to mess with them.
That
So
worked.
yeah, that was
On.
interesting.
In your batting stance, did you swing your bat?
Like the wiggle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, until it's time to till it's business time.
Yeah, I was saying, when did
Yeah,
you...
just staying live. With my batting and what I try to teach is like you stay loose, really loose. So you gotta stay loose. Keep
Yeah.
your hands moving. Don't be sedentary. Don't be stiff. Not movement. No movement.
I got it.
And as soon as the pitcher's starting to make his movement, then you're loose. You're triggering. You drive the ball to the right center.
Not yet. But stretch or wind up?
For me, I preferred the wind up.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I felt like I had more velocity.
Yeah,
on the
okay.
wind up. Now, what I teach for kids that struggle with control,
Okay.
I put them straight in the stretch, and then we figure out the wind up.
Okay. Okay. I've always thought stretch was better just because the fact, like, you're going to go to stretch if someone gets on.
Correct. Well, because but the big thing is, with the wind up, you're able to develop more rhythm.
Yeah.
A lot about
True.
pitching is rhythm.
True.
But with the wind up, you're moving a lot more. There's a lot more from the time that you start your wind up to when you deliver the ball that can go wrong. Your timing can get off. Your hands get a little out of center or whatever. Your body can get out in front of your arm. With stretch, there's less time to screw up.
True.
So.
Gotcha.
Just talking about Bama in specific, I heard they only have 32 5-stars this year. Are you worried at all?
I'm slightly concerned.
They don't have their usual 40, so...
Slightly concerned, but...
Who do you think's the starting quarterback down there? Do you think it's the Buchner, or...
I don't know if it's going to be, Milrow?
Milrow,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't even think they've announced. I
haven't,
know first game's like Labor Day weekend, but I haven't got on the Alabama boards yet.
Right,
So
absolutely.
Okay, so would you rather go to watch a soccer game or go to a golf match?
Oh, my goodness.
Lows.
Oh,
like in high school or college or
Let's say high school. If you had to go watch a full game, what would you go watch?
Either of them.
I'm going to. Due to the fact that I'm a varsity coach, I'm going to go ahead and decline to answer this question.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't want to offend my colleagues. I don't want to offend my colleagues. So.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a good. That's a good one.
all right, professionally.
Yeah.
It's not just any soccer game. It's an MLS, and it's like it's one of the mid
PGA?
golf.
Oh,
It's one
no,
of the
it's not
mid.
PGA.
No, it is PGA, but it's one of the mid. It's not like an elevated major. It's one of the
Okay.
regular.
I play golf, so I would naturally have a tendency to lean that way.
Yeah.
Soccer's great. Don't get me wrong. So
Yeah.
both.
I'm not getting you wrong.
Yeah,
Are you getting me wrong?
yeah. So that's yeah. Well, we'll move on. Next question. Next question.
Next question, please.
Have you ever missed a signal from a coach and he got mad at you?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Which coincidentally, it's one of my pet peeves as a coach is whenever I'm trying to give a signal and my guy on first base, the guy on second base is either chatting with the shortstop or the first base coach. So yes, I think that a lot of my neurotic behavior as a coach in regards to being particular about certain things, missing signs, being late to practice and to the bus and stuff like that, were all spurred from me doing it in college and paying the ultimate the consequences from it. Mm-hmm. Therefore, now I've overcompensated for it as a coach. So.
All right, so I'm gonna ask the last question. I'm not gonna answer it, but so do you get any coaching tips from? Is it Coach Ken Murphy? Is that his name?
Ken Murphy.
Do you get any coaching tips from him?
No.
So like the bunting rule. You don't bunt. Like you pull back, hit it over.
We bunt plenty, and I will take Kent Murphy's knowledge into consideration. But usually I get all my coaching tips from my assistant coaches. Big shout out to Joe Jenner, Coach Jenner, Coach Mahoney, Coach O'Neill, Coach Doc Boyd, JV coaches, Coach Derek Wynn, Coach Matt Black. I I don't believe I'm forgetting anybody.
Shout out if he is missing anybody.
Yeah, if I had forgotten you, I'm so sorry, but I think I got everybody. But no, and I've been fortunate to play for great coaches.
Yeah.
And then also get to coach with great coaches with a lot of knowledge that played the game, that have coached. I'm in a really good situation in regards to good kids in a program, good kids that have graduated this past year that I got to coach, and especially, great people that I've surrounded myself with.
Yeah, and I took one thing from Kent Murphy, and I played right field, and that's all I'm saying.
That's right.
So that's what I get baseball wasn't me.
I played right field my junior and senior year of college.
I'm kidding. That was a funny video. Go watch it if you haven't seen it.
So, Coach Kent Murphy, an icon to us all, but Kyle Harsin, an icon to everyone.
Oh, well.
My friend.
No,
so before we go out,
it.
any maybe a golf scramble?
Yes, thank you very much. Madison baseball Cub former players, alumni, supporters of the program, fans. You don't even have to go. Even have gone to Madison. Madison baseball golf scramble, August 27th, Sunday, 12:30 tee off. Be there a little before noon. You'll have lunch. $60 a person to play. Proceeds go to the Madison baseball program, and really would like to have a big crowd this year. It's a great opportunity for especially old alumni to come back and have play around with each other and around to golf with each other, and then it can catch up. Mm-hmm. So love to see you guys there, gals. You've got any questions? Madison Baseball Cubs on Facebook or my Facebook page, Kyle Harsin.
Absolutely, yeah. Just from an outsider's perspective, I got the chance to be part of the program for a couple of years. It's a program that's enriched in history,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of tradition within the program, and one thing that really sets Madison apart, one of the nicest fields
Absolutely,
in the state.
and it's great because we get, whether it be Legion teams I have come in and play in the summertime, but every other high school game that we have there, I have a parent or a coach just always kind of sit and look, especially a night game when the lights are on, and they're like, man, this is my favorite ballpark to come and play at. So,
and then shout out to Mike Modest.
Oh, hey. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I almost forgot.
That dude. Oh. So I've probably said like one sentence to him in my whole life, but that dude, every time I go, when I work in the athletic department, like I'm going by there, that dude's always out there. Yeah. Always out there.
Coach Mod was my assistant baseball coach. When Coach Mod speaks, you listen. He's a man of few words, but they're usually important words.
Yeah.
The time he puts into keeping that field up, especially during season, he's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best. Love Coach Mod to death.
Yeah, absolutely. So $60 would be money well spent. Get some good food, play a round of golf, and support a very, very important program. Not only to the community, but also the state of Indiana.
Yep,
sure.
Absolutely.
So, the Madison Cubs Golf Scramble. Again, Kyle Harsin, thanks for being on the couch.
Go Cubs, go! I appreciate it.
Cubs, go.
Thank you.
See ya.